Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cocktails and Convos. My name is Chris, and my pronouns are he and him.
And my name is Shane, and my pronouns are he or they.
And our drink today is what's called a brass monkey, because America. And you'll learn a little bit more about that as we introduce our topic today.
No shade.
No shade. All right. So our topic today, of course, something like this was coming, is the government shutdown, which is in itself crazy.
It's wild.
This has happened before, but this one is
the longest shutdown in history.
It's crazy. It's bonkers. It's fucking bananas. Bananas.
The brass monkey.
The brass monkey bananas. This is the third episode we filmed today, although you might be seeing this before the other two.
This is, yeah,
been drinking for about 2.5 hours now.
We're lit.
So we're having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my exact feeling. This is that's my exact sentiment.
So basically, it is a partial shutdown, but the government is shut down. So right now, only essential government employees are permitted to work, and they're actually not going to be paid.
Yeah, they're not receiving compensation until
the government shutdown is over, until the government is back up, which could be who the knows when.
This is a bonkers situation right now. It's the longest one. There's a lot of, and so I'm going to preface this episode with, I want everybody to know that we don't want anybody to feel alienated for how they feel, regardless of your political stance. This is an open conversation. We feel a certain way. We're going to express how we feel about it, and we're trying to approach this from as an objective of a standpoint as we can. Obviously, personal biases exist. You know, we're a little drunk. Things might come out. But we want you to know that we respect how you feel, and we want to know how you feel about this.
Definitely. And I mean, this is a little bit more opinion-based, so it's going to be harder for it to be objective, but we're going to try our best. And,
absolutely.
You know, this is conversational. This is...
We're talking.
Opinions. So let's just get into it, and let's just start talking.
Jesus Christ. Right. You're right.
Yeah, let's go. So no matter what your political stance is, we can all agree that...
This is bad. It's not good. It does a lot of harm to a lot of departments. An example I'm going to bring up, maybe I don't know if you saw, but Joshua Tree National Park.
Oh my gosh.
Was one of the only essential workers could work, and there was very little going on. And somebody vandalized the goddamn park, so now they just shut down completely.
Yeah, they were attacked.
Yeah, they were literally attacked. They can't monitor it now. Yeah, and so nobody can go to Joshua Tree right now.
They were not sure exactly who did it, but they were thinking that it was a lot of people that were probably trying to go off-roading. Yeah. And kind of were just like, you know, screw it, there's not going to be anyone here.
They damaged endangered plant life. Yeah. It's crazy.
So they just went through and kind of destroyed trees and the wildlife that was there. And just like mowed it down, basically.
Yeah, literally just and went right over it.
Through it.
It sucks. And, you know, again, no matter what our political stance is, a government shutdown is very, very bad, no matter how you feel about social services, government services. You know, there's veterans that are not getting their benefits. There are people who have disabilities who are suffering. There are countless families. Like 800,000 federal employees are not receiving pay.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Almost 1 million people. Yeah, almost 1 million people that are not getting paid.
And I mean, if
that was me, I would be homeless. I would be done. If Gerard was like, okay, guys, I can't pay you for about 2 months. Is that chill? No,
I'd be
can't do it. We're homeless. We're done.
So
not everyone.
Yeah, so many people that are being affected.
Yeah,
by
anybody who any funding that comes from a federal area is directly impacted by the shutdown. The shutdown last time was about the budget. They couldn't agree about the budget.
Yeah, I mean, which is kind of a similar thing right now. Is if they want to allocate money. Where they want to put their money, which it's always about the money if we're going to be real.
It's two sides of political argument that don't know how to spend federal money, where to put federal money, how to use federal money. And right now, you know, if we're honest with ourselves, the reason the shutdown is happening is And again, this is not me taking a stance. It's because of the wall.
Yeah,
it's the wall that
agree
on what to do about the wall.
What to do about the wall.
So essentially, it's an immigration issue. It is. It's an immigration issue, and what the wall is, I think I can't remember the exact amount. I think it's $5 billion for the wall. I think it's about
it's over 21 billion.
Christ. Okay, well I'm gonna trust you on that.
Yeah.
That's an absolutely insane, absurd amount of money. I mean, I guess it's a 1,000-mile wall.
I mean, so you're not just looking at the cost of the materials, but you're also looking into the labor for the wall,
maintaining the wall, people monitoring the wall, the whole thing.
It's over I understand. $21 billion.
That's a lot of dolphin noises. Sorry, me. That's crazy. That's so crazy. And whew, I'm passionate right now. I'm feeling your passion too. I'm into this, and you know this too. The Democrats already have tried to pass a budget. Yeah. And the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, and no shade to him because I don't think he's wrong. He literally said, "There's no reason to talk about this because no matter what we pass through, the president will not sign this."
Yeah.
And in a political way, that's I understand where he's coming from, and I get that because we know Trump. That's his priority right now is this wall. Oh, go ahead.
Well, the other thing is we have a little bit of light, and I mean it's not light, but it's something from Trump, which is we have seen that he's not gonna put us in a state of emergency. He has actually said that he's not gonna declare a state of emergency.
I know he was talking about that for a minute.
He actually just said that he will not do that, which is great.
That's a silver lining. Not that the situation is good.
It's not good, but
he knows that's a bad idea at this point, which is wonderful.
There's a little bit of light in this.
Yeah, for real. It's crazy to me that right now it seems like the executive branch is trying to hold this over the other two parts of the system as a way to do what it wants to do, which I understand that's a very, our president believes that this wall is such a vital part of our immigration problem that he's gunning for this. Yeah. It's a major campaign promise that he talked about the whole campaign.
Before, it was really
he's always been passionate about immigration.
It's always been a thing.
And whether that's a right or wrong idea that he has, and whether the wall, again, we feel a certain way, but whether or not the wall is a correct way to deal with the problem that he's perceiving, the Trump administration has a lot of things that they've been saying and thinking that, they're neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But again, my personal opinion is the wall isn't worth what we're pushing for right now. I think it's important that we get into the debate on whether or not, and on both sides, whether it's an effective tool on what
whether we need the wall or not.
Whether we need the wall or not, and what he thinks is an essential part of our
why he's fighting so hard for it.
So hard. A lot of people on the left talk about the wall as this racist like symbol.
Yeah.
And people on the right
are like
legitimately
they really feel like we're just protecting our home and our country, and this is really going to keep us safe.
Right. And, again, we've talked about here to each other is whether or not that's right or wrong. And how do you feel about, the effectiveness, what you think, what have you been reading?
So, regardless of how I actually feel about immigration, I'm going to take that out of me.
Sure.
And just go solely based on the facts of what I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can be as unbiased as possible. I do not think that the wall will be effective.
I would agree with that sentiment, personally.
If you really look at what people do to cross the border every day, what is a wall going to change?
There's a lot of things that are flawed with the overall idea of this wall.
I mean, the main thing being that a large portion of the people that get into this country illegally, which, again, taking my
your personal bias out of it.
Bias out of it. I don't.
Yeah.
It's not. People are, quote unquote, smuggled in, or they come into this country legally and then just don't leave when they're supposed to.
Right. That happens all the time.
The issue isn't necessarily how people are getting in. It's people not leaving.
For sure.
Let's just say someone hides you in their car kind of thing.
Yeah.
A wall's not going to change that. If you're crossing the border...
Legally,
if someone's crossing the border quote unquote, legally, and you're smuggled through, if you're getting smuggled through anyways, a wall isn't going to change that. If you're flying over or you're coming through legally and then you just don't leave, a wall is not going to change that.
Right. And
so
you're so right.
People will find a way to get here.
It's a literal physical manifestation of a deterrent. It's a goddamn wall, you know?
So, but do I think that it is worth $21 billion?
Nope.
Do I think it is worth the environmental costs? Do I think it is worth...
There's animal immigration that and migration that happens across the goddamn border.
It's the thing that there's 800 endangered species. That's plants and animals. There's literally species that will go extinct if this wall is built.
That I didn't know. That's crazy.
There are, and the other thing is, and we don't know how true this actually is, but Mexico has actually said that it's likely that this wall could act as a dam and cause flooding
over the Rio Grande
in Mexico. So, you know, we're just gonna flood Mexico.
Jesus Christ,
screw them, right?
I mean, that's. I mean, if you want to get political, that's what the symbol of the wall really is.
Which, I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily think that the wall is saying screw Mexico. Yeah. I think it's just saying that the U.S. is ours and Mexico is theirs.
Right. It's a very separate. I don't
necessarily think that people that are in favor of the wall are saying that we don't care about Mexico. I think they're just saying that we care about the U.S. and we just want what's ours to be ours and what's theirs to be theirs.
I absolutely agree with that. I think the run-of-the-mill person who thinks of the wall legitimately believes that immigration from the southern border is a huge issue, and they want to protect the assets that are ours and the things that they deem that are the U.S.'s and shouldn't come to somebody who is not of legal immigration status. I firmly believe that's exactly what the most of people who are in favor of the wall think.
I personally know people that are in favor of the wall who are also the same people that will go with their church groups to go on these mission projects to go to like orphanages in Mexico
and take care
of people.
So
it's not that they don't care about Mexico. It's not that they don't care about the people there. So my thing isn't that they're like, screw Mexico. It's just what's ours is ours and what's theirs is theirs. So I think that they just might not realize those costs.
The impact. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think this goes along with what we talked about in the Tumblr episode, where I think there's a legitimate idea with the best of intentions behind it, but the government isn't necessarily, or I guess the right side of the government right now, who is really pushing for this, the implementation of the wall and the creation of the wall, isn't thinking about effective implementation of creating it and what the impacts will be. Right now, it's a short-term solution. They want it done now. They want to pay for it. They want it to go up. Boom. Some problem solved, let's move on, is what they want to do, where that isn't necessarily, again, in my opinion, I think there is, that $21 billion could go to so much other good. Again, my personal bias and problem is I don't think the immigration problem is that massive that it's going to cause a problem. If you think about the illegals who don't have a social security card yet, who don't pay taxes necessarily, they're not receiving governmental social programs either. And so they're not taking money away from anybody necessarily in the way that maybe people are trying to perceive that to be. And maybe there are examples where I'm wrong that very well, I will fully admit that I'm not an expert on this subject. I'm not an expert on, of all government functions and laws. It's just things that are, to me, are common sense that exist. And I could very be wrong. I'd love to know what you guys think about it for sure. And, give us information too.
Definitely. We'd love to hear.
Yeah, our show is all about talking to you guys and you talking to us.
We'd love to learn.
We'd love to learn. I think we're feeling a little. Are we feeling a little long? What's Ted? How's drink? What's our time at, Ted? How much time we got?
Drink is good.
Yes, good. Drinking what we're drinking?
I love the drink.
What drink do you got? Bring it in front of the camera. What do you got? What's the? Do you have the brass thing again?
Are you using your copper?
Why is it spicy,
again?
Ted? Why is it spicy?
Ted, what are you drinking?
Ted, you weren't supposed to drink. You were to drive home.
Ted.
We're not going home tonight. We're taking an Uber.
We gotta take an Uber.
We're taking an Uber now.
All right,
everybody.
Guys.
Again,
thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. This is Cocktails and Convos. We so appreciate your time. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. Hit that bell, whatever YouTubers say.
Yeah.
Cheers to you, my friends. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the conversation.
Yeah. The moral of the story is immigrants are getting fucked.
But really, the government shutdown is awful for everyone, and we need it to end.
Yeah. The shutdown.